fucking Roethlisberger, the quarterback, was all fucking hug it, chug it, football all night.
What is up, everybody? Welcome into the Palazzo Podcast. 2 L's, 2 Z's.
Stop. Give me two.
Michael Govier will be joining us here momentarily, but you guys know the purpose of today's show. It is your start-sit questions here for week 4. Bring us everything you got. Use the live chat here, the live chat feature. Just make sure to give us PPR, non-PPR, half-point PPR, common last names. Make sure you guys give us the first letter or the first name of that person so we can help you out to the best of our abilities. So as I mentioned, Govier going to be joining us here in a second, but it's your boy Mike Virginia. Make sure you follow me here at _Mike VA. Follow us at the Palazzo Podcast, 2 L's, 2 Z's, and make sure you're following the whole Palazzo crew. We still got fantasy baseball stuff going on, which is coming to an end here momentarily. But anyways, hope everyone's doing well on this fine Sunday. You got Chad in the live chat saying he's in full panic mode. CMC back by November. And he wants to know what in the world I do with Jordan Mason and Dynasty now. I think you still have to keep him, honestly. And I don't think Christian McCaffrey's coming back in November either. I don't see a reason to rush him back. They're going to want to make sure he's fully back. I know he got the PRP injection, all that stuff in Germany, but Jordan Mason is a strong hold for me. Christian McCaffrey's obviously getting longer in the tooth here. Even when McCaffrey does come back and he's playing, I think Jordan Mason's going to see some run there too. I think the days of seeing Christian McCaffrey with a stranglehold on all the touches there is probably done. But Mason's going to have some value here, and you have to hold him as long as Christian McCaffrey's on the 49ers, you have to hold him just because, again, the chance of re-injury, especially with a calf and Achilles, is very likely. So not good. Chris Genova, what's up? Morning, sir. How are you, my friend? He wants to know, I need to start 2 of these guys, Ford, Pollard, or Akers. What do you think? Chris, it would be helpful if you gave me PPR or non-PPR for everybody in the live chat right now. And it's climbing and climbing and climbing here. Please, please, please make sure you give us the PPR, non-PPR, because it matters in terms of how I answer here. I am out on Jerome Ford. His carries have not been there. I know that the Raiders just got ripped up by Chuba Hubbard. But for me, I would go Pollard and Akers here. I think Akers has the best matchup here against Jacksonville at home. Joe Mixon not playing. Again, I think Cam Akers has the best chance, and then obviously Tony Pollard for me as well. So Ford for me again just doesn't look right, especially in that offense. It's tough, especially in PPR aspects of it. I think it's definitely Pollard here, but I think you can make a toss up between Ford and Akers. But for me, give me the Akers side. I just think Jacksonville is a dumpster fire here. At home division matchup. I think Cam Akers gets in the end zone today. Let's see here. We'll see. Well, here you go. You got Real Tommy V saying Ford and Pollard. And then Chad thinks it's Ford and Akers. So, but for me there, Chris, I would go Pollard and Akers. That's who I'm going with. Ryan, what's up, man? He says Achane or James Conner in his standard league. Oof. I would love to know who the other running back in the flex you're starting here, Ryan, because I think both should be in your lineup today. Let me know on that before I give you my answer, Ryan. I'll promise I'll come back to it, but I need to know who else you're starting in the running back slot. I assume you start 2 running backs, and then also who's in your flex. So let me know on that. Alex says 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 2 flex, half-point PPR. Kenneth Walker, J.K. Dobbins, Rashad White, Jamar Chase, Deontay Johnson, Terry McLaurin. I'm not sure I understand the question here, Alex. Are you out? You need 2 running backs. Jeez, man, this is tough. Okay, 2 running backs. Give me Kenneth Walker and... Well, I guess you only listed between Robinson and Rashad White. I want nothing to do with Rashad White, so give me J.K. Dobbins there. 2 wide receivers. Alex, moving forward, you never have to ask if Jamar Chase should be in your lineup. It's 100% locked, so leave him out. He's your first-round draft pick. You never sit him. Never, ever, ever sit Jamar Chase. Give me Johnson here. I like that matchup. And then and then you need 2 flexes. All right, this is a tough one here, dude. Give me Kenneth Walker, Jesus, and J.K. Dobbins. Receivers, give me Chase and Johnson, and 2 flexes, give me JSN and Terry McLaurin. That's my thing there. All right. Let's see. Alex says, I need a ton of help. I'm 0-3. Well, that's what we're here for, Alex. But like I said, moving forward, you never have to ask about Kenneth Walker in your lineup or Jamar Chase. I think those guys are locked in staples for moving forward in your team. You never have to ask. I think I would leave them in staples every time if they're healthy, you're playing them. There's no way you can sit. Let's see. EA All Day says, hey, Mike, Jaden Reed, McLaurin, or JSN is my wide receiver too. My flexers are Connor and Ramondre. I would go, give me Jaden Reed here with Jordan Love back. That's who I'm going with. Alex says, thank you. Absolutely, brother. Adam Beauregard, Sutton, Myers, Brian Thomas, pick 2 half-point PPR. Thanks, bro. Absolutely, Adam. I see you're a Browns fan here. Hope they get to win. I need Amari Cooper to go off today. So you need to pick 2 between Sutton, Myers, and Brian Thomas. Obviously, no Devontae Adams today for Las Vegas. I am starting Jacoby Myers in one of my leagues, so give me Myers. I am not starting Cam Sutton. Sauce Gardner will be on him, and I don't like that offense as a whole to begin with. So give me Myers and Brian Thomas here. Chad says, are we all the way out on JJ, the San Francisco treat? I'm not sure what you mean there, brother. Assuming if he's good to go, you roll out Debo over Zay Flowers. See, this is a tough one. If you own Chris Olave or Debo Samuel, because I've gotten this question a lot on Twitter today. Both coming back from injuries. Debo's got a little bit of a calf injury that kept him out a little bit, and Chris Olave dealing with a hamstring injury. Ideally, I would say if you have the flexibility to move on from these guys and start somebody in a better matchup or have a guy that you're kind of deciding between, I'd kind of go from there. I think if they're playing, you have to start them. I just don't know how much Chris Olave is going to be in the lineup today and Debo Samuel. Like, that scares me a little bit, right? Because, like, calf injuries are, one, really hard to re-aggravate, and same thing with hamstrings. And Olave injured his hamstring on Friday. So how much run are these guys going to get? I don't know. But at the same time too, like, their talents are obviously are great. I would think I would go Zay Flowers over here at EA All Day, because I think their values are probably roughly the same here. I would go Zay Flowers and give me a show me week here for Debo that he can escape there. Chad's talking about Juwan Jennings of San Francisco treat. Yeah, I'm not all the way out on him. I think he has value today. I think he's a strong flex play, Juwan Jennings. Yep, that's what I had. Those 2, thank you. And yep, wounded Raiders. If we lose, we could maybe see Winston soon. Yeah, possibly, man. Favorite QB waiver QB today. Darnold, Geno, Rodgers, or Caleb. Give me Geno there. Like the matchup. And I think it's going to be a shootout. If Debo and Kittle's and Ayuk, JJ is irrelevant. I disagree. I know Kittles and Debo are both back today, but again, as I said, Debo, I don't know how much of the playing time that we see from him. Same thing with Kittle, because of his injury as well. So do I think these guys immediately just slide in and get 100% of their playing time? Tough to know, but Juwan Jennings still saw a lot of targets with Brandon Ayuk active. So obviously Brock Purdy is trusting him a little bit there. So I don't think one, if not both of these guys between Debo and Kittle see 100% snap shares. They may ease them in. Like I said, they're winning without them. So, and I definitely don't think especially with McCaffrey out, that they're going to want to risk re-injury with both of these guys. So I think if you have Debo, and you have a guy like Zay Flowers as your backup, I would go Zay Flowers over Debo, but tight end landscape is a little bit different there with Kittle. So I think if you have Kittle, you got to start him there. But Juwan Jennings is not irrelevant. I think he's a strong hold. Let's see here. Henry Burge. Who do I start? Aaron Jones or James Cook? I would love to know who, same thing as Ryan has said here earlier. If you have Aaron Jones and James Cook, I would want to know who the other running back is that you're starting and who also is your flex. Also is a PPR, non-PPR as well. That would help. Let's see. Chad says, would you start Dotson over him with Dotson basically in the same environment Jennings was in last week? Would I start Jahan Dotson over Juwan Jennings? No, I'd rather have Jennings. Okay, you guys are talking to each other here. Last one for me, EL Day. Last one for me, need to drop a player in my 10-team league to add a defense. Would you rather drop Bucky Irving or Jerome Ford? I'd rather not drop any of these guys. There's no one else to drop there, EAL Day. Give me the rest of your guys on your team. I'd love to know that. But if you ask me to pick between these guys, it's probably Bucky Irving. But I don't feel good about it because I do think he's going to take over here in a little bit. Zay Flowers has a tough matchup against Buffalo. Yes, but again, Deebo Samuel coming off of a calf injury, very easy to re-aggravate. I don't want to risk it there. Give me Zay Flowers. And again, noting that Zay Flowers is probably their best playmaker. Their ceilings are roughly the same. So, let's see. Henry, I got Jordan Mason and Bijan and James Cook at the flex right now. And you need to decide between him and Aaron Jones. You got to go James Cook, man. I know it's tough to do, but man, you got a really good problem to have here with these guys. How many teams are in this league here, Henry? Because I'd be interested to know that. And number two is, could you trade one of these guys? Like I might trade like a Jordan Mason to address another need on your team, whether it's a quarterback or receiver or tight end. But it's a really good problem to have if you have all of these running backs, especially in the PPR format. Let's see here. Rest of guys, AJ Brown. I assume that's AJ Brown, Montgomery, Devonta, JSN, Kenneth Walker, Hawkinson. So not really any other options. How many elite teams are in your league? That's a really strong team. Yeah, man, I think I go Bucky Irving there. Jerome Ford is going to have a little bit of a couple more weeks there until Nick Chubb comes back. So that's probably who I would drop out of those guys. 10-team league. Gotcha. Okay. Let's see. Chad says, even if Chubb ends up sucking coming off the injury, they're going to give him the role. Yeah. Jerome Ford will still have value there. What's up, Gove?
Yo, what it is? Where the weed at, everybody, here on a Sunday morning? Yeah. Back through the border to Canada to come home to do this show. Thanks for having me here, Mike. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for being here, buddy. I appreciate it. I have a start-sit question for you today.
Let's party.
And I want to know who you would pick.
Give me two.
I put this in the Discord. For those of you guys who don't know, we have a free Discord that you can get in, get your questions answered. Govier has his own channel there. So do I. So does Chad. So there's a lot of good guys, a lot of good people who know what they're talking about. So I have to pick two here because I had Devontae Adams and Trey McBride both get hurt. So I have good thing is I can slot Kyle Pitts into my tight end slot. But I need to pick two of these guys. One to start my receiver spot, one to start my flex spot. So you got Roshan Johnson, Rashid Shaheed, Michael Wilson, Jacoby Myers, and Darnell Mooney. You got to pick two from those guys. Mind you, this is non-PPR.
Well, gentlemen, ladies, everybody in between, this is a great question. It sucks to have no Devontae, no McBride. Those are two key players for you right now. You know, you don't deserve that. You deserve better than that. You definitely do. Here, so I can share this with everybody. This is the same premise right here, right? This pick two?
Yep.
Okay. So, play along at home. Look, Jacoby Myers against Cleveland's defense. Cleveland defense can be tough against a pass. If we look, we're starting to get trends now, Mike, with which teams are doing what consistently after 3 full weeks. We have a rough idea. I love looking at how teams do against fantasy points against or for. And versus wide receivers, the Cleveland defense is actually they're really just like middle of the pack. They've given up 3 passing touchdowns to receivers, about 413 yards, puts them like 18th to 20th overall. So they can be thrown upon. It's not impossible. So, and I like Jacoby Myers. I'm a big fan. So I think Myers might be a play here for sure because he could rack up yards and a possible touchdown. And then Wilson against Washington, it's really tasty. So I actually think I'd probably go Wilson and Myers here in a radical call right there.
The matchup is too good to ignore there with Michael Wilson. For those of you guys who are deciding between, he saw 9 targets last week. No Yeah, I read that, Chad. I read some couple things. I also saw that Roshan Johnson was going to get an extended look today. So
2 different opinions back to back. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. So it doesn't help me out. But, I've heard more of the Roshan take than I did the Bears abandoning it altogether. DeAndre Swift has not been good, and the Rams can be rain against. So, but I need to see it first because I don't know how much of an extended look you get from Roshan Johnson today. I think all of the backs between Herbert and Swift will probably be involved. So it's a mess there in Chicago and the running back, and they don't really have a strong offensive line to begin with. So I think I've already taken him out of the equation there, Gove. So I like Michael Wilson as well in terms of the matchup. I think I'm going to slot him in at the flex, and I'm going to start Jacoby Myers, noting that I think he's going to see a majority of it. I know a lot of people are on the Trey Tucker aspect of it again, but I think he's probably third in the pecking order behind Bowers and Myers. So, yeah, that's probably who I'm going with. But I'm interested to hear live chat. Who would you start between those 5 guys that I listed? So non PPR. So
remember, a classic standard league man, this fine young man, Mike Virginia is at _ Mike VA on Twitter.
Go Chargers, go.
Yeah, I like the Chargers today, plus 7.5 at home against Kansas City, for sure. Just to let everybody know that. Also, yesterday, just so everyone knows, this never happens, okay? I won 2 4-leg parlays and a 3-leg. That's insane.
Round of applause, buddy. That's great.
That's insane.
And do you know where people?
Arkansas, Sam Houston State, and UMass.
I had Sam Houston State yesterday too.
Oh, yes!
I had Sam Houston State, and I felt really good about the Boston College and Western Kentucky over, even with a backup quarterback, but that did not hit, unfortunately. So
it didn't. Oh.
No. But I had Sam Houston State. I had North Texas, who has made me a lot of money this year. So did
I. -7. I loved it. That was one of my best bets too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good call. Yeah. We are on the same page. Yeah.
I think your issue is Bowers because he and Jacoby are competing for the same targets. I think they're going to have to throw the ball regardless because the running game has not been good there in Las Vegas with Zamir White. So I think they're going to be throwing all day today. So I think they both can have value here.
That's fair. I want to share this trade offer I've got and see what you guys think of it. Now, this is a super flex league, okay, with PPR, so take that in. But this guy wants my Pickens for his Watson and Corum. Now, I really feel like I want to do it because
you're gonna get Watson and Corum.
Yeah, I feel like Watson, Pickens at the end. Now that Jordan Love is back and they can start throwing again. By end of season, what will be the big gap or the margin between Watson and Pickens in PPR, honestly? And if I get Blake Corum, if Kyron Williams gets hurt, he's the guy. He's ready to party. I love George Pickens, though, so I'm really torn. Really torn.
Yeah, I'd probably keep George Pickens, honestly. He's just not enough for me.
Really?
Yeah, I would probably keep Pickens here.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Just because Blake Corum is going to be clogging your bench, right, until Williams gets hurt. Right. Or if
that's a great point. That's a great point. If we look at my running backs, you're right. I got a lot of running backs. So I'm not in like a desperate need to grab those. If we look here, I've got James Cook, Ramondre, and then of course Jerome Ford, who I like, and Kenneth Walker, who's back today. So I'm loaded, right?
You're not starting?
No, I'm not. Detroit's run D, man. They're good at stopping the run. I'm going to go Ramondre against the 49ers. Yep.
You like him over Brian Thomas as well?
Oh, well, actually, I might think about that one, but I love Kenneth Walker. I'd like to see what he does against the Detroit run D. Detroit just is so good against the run. They've been good for a couple of years. Now, it doesn't mean Kenneth Walker can't rack up some grabs, too, and in PPR, that's valuable, but I'm going to stick with it for now because I actually like the Jags over. The Jags-Texans overs at 44.5. And I know the Jags got murdered last week, but this is the NFL, man. Weird shit happens, and the hardest thing to do is go back to the well, especially after a team just gets murdered or destroyed. But you got to do it, man. It takes balls to fucking play fantasy football and to bet on the NFL. It takes fucking stones, my friends. It's hard.
Yes, it does. Do we know the over-under in that game? Because if you guys checked us out on Tuesday, which, by the way, we do Tuesday shows for your waiver wire. For those of you guys who are new watching, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We do shows on Tuesday nights as well.
Just cracked 860. Thanks, everybody. Thank you. That's nice. We're making progress. This is just what we wanted from the NFL season. Thank you, everybody.
I want to know who the top 4 and the over-unders are. Do you know that by chance?
Yeah, so we got Carolina, Cincinnati at 47. That's the high for the 1 o'clock games. Yeah.
Okay. For the 1
because everything's the highest of the day, I believe, is Washington and Arizona at 51. I'll have to double check that. And then Seattle, Detroit on Monday night is high. Those are the highest over-unders. But for the 1 o'clock games, the Jacksonville-Houston game is the second highest because I just did all this work on the NFL betting sheet, which you can get now on the Patreon, starting at just $3. Palazzo Podcast, 2 L's, 2 Z's. I made a lot of money in college yesterday. We can make money in the NFL, too. But, yeah, let me just share the sheet. Why not? Everybody deserves it. You guys are subscribing. You're making our lives better. So this week, look at the over-unders here. So here we go. If you can see that. Make that a little bigger.
Detroit at 46.5. Okay, so I thought they'd be higher than that.
Yeah, the Dallas Giant one was 45. That was a guaranteed under. By the way, you see 2 greens there. I got both those games right, so I'm on fire. Yeah. But thanks to Brandon Aubrey missing that kick.
Great job.
Great job. Yeah, great job. So I like the Cincinnati-Carolina under, actually. Cincinnati's defense is being shit on by everybody big time, but if you look inside the numbers, they're actually not that terrible against the run in particular. And now that Adam Thielen's out too, that's going to make life harder on Andy Dalton. And you throw in this hurricane that is, just kind of sitting. Now it's a tropical depression or whatever the hell you want to call it, but it's just sitting there in this country. We got to think about that too.
That is true. It's going to be interesting, man, because I think in that Detroit game, I think there's going to be a lot of points in that one. I actually like the over. I actually might hammer that. I know Detroit's defense is good, but as Chad already alluded to, Branch is out. So,
he's out. Okay, yep.
So I think that line maybe goes up a little bit, maybe to the 47s, like 47 and a half. But I still like the
Buffalo Baltimore could be a big party too.
I agree with that.
I was right about the over on the Washington's the highest of the day overall, or for all games this week. And then, so I like the over in the Jacksonville-Houston game. I think New Orleans and Atlanta can score more points too, and I love the over in the Rams-Chicago game because Chicago could be run on, and Kyron Williams can run. So they're going to do that a lot.
That's right.
What do we got going on here in the live chat? Hey, dudes. Oh, Joe's here. What's up, buddy? He says only drop quorum if you have number 1 waivers. And he also said, nice job with Carolina, Chad. Great job, Chad. Good work. So
great job.
Oh, Pickens is a dog. He's going to have a heater, says Tommy. Okay, Tommy. I love Pickens. I've drafted him heavily. I'm a big fan. I just thought maybe I'd add quorum, but it makes no sense. Mike talked me out of it. He's a smart guy. Thank you, Mike, for saving my life. Got any other start sits you're worried about? Because we're not getting any in the live chat here. Come on, people. Help us out. No. Help us help you.
No, I need a big win this week. I'm going up against a guy who's second to last, but he's got a lot of good matchups. He's got Najee today, who's going to get all the carries. But to your point, Cordell Patterson should get some run there.
Yes. Love it.
But other than that, he's got Tyreek Hill, who's going to get Tyler Huntley today at quarterback. That's probably a good one here. Do you like Tyler Huntley over Skylar Thompson for this offense? And what does that do for guys like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle?
Yeah, I tried to pick up Tyler Huntley in several leagues where I picked up Skylar last week because I've just had immediate clarity after Skylar's garbage effort. He got hurt too. He's got the rib problem. That's not going to be great. He already sucks. And a rib problem. Bad news for Skylar Thompson and everybody who's trying to participate in fantasy points with him. So I'm pro Huntley for this offense going forward until Tua comes back because Huntley can move. And he's had moments in his career where he's been serviceable, and he's got a lot of weapons at his disposal. If you can pick up this playbook pretty quickly and Mike McDaniel can maximize him, I like Tyler Huntley. I do. Super flex, obviously.
Yeah.
And bye weeks are starting to come up, too. We got to start thinking about buys. Will be starting here. Coming to an NFL week near you.
Well, here's another question I had for you as well is because a lot of guys were asking me on Twitter, and we got some questions here in the live chat before you hopped on. What are you doing with guys like Chris Olave and Deebo Samuel today? Olave, obviously, it looks like he's going to be active today or expects to be active. I think he's still going through pregame warmups to see if he's fully playing, but he's got the hamstring injury, which he had on Friday at practice. And then Deebo Samuel returning from a calf injury, which I'm sure you know is really hard to re-aggravate and also come back from as well. So if you have both these guys, I think one of the questions was Deebo or Zay Flowers. I said Zay because I'm worried about Deebo.
All day.
Yeah. Okay.
All day, Zay. Yeah, I'll lock that in. I'm joining you 100%. Also, Joe wants to know about Braylon Allen versus Denver today. Yeah. Why not?
I'd like to know who. I'd like to know who the other matchups are. I assume you're asking if you should start in today, but I would like to know who else is in your who the other options are. So, but yeah, I like him. I think this is going to be a 1-2 punch here in New York. I actually really like the Jets moving forward. I don't know why. Don't ask me, but Aaron Rodgers is a veteran. He's a leader. The 2 running backs, the defense, they got the receivers. Like the Jets are not getting talked about nearly enough. And I know they haven't been off to the best of starts so far, but at the same time too, I think they can compete with Buffalo for that division. I really do.
Yeah, absolutely. I like Braylon Allen. Actually, if you played a PPR league and you're desperate, it's not a bad call because I actually took his prop on his receiving yards today. I think it was plus. Let me show you here. Yeah, it was a nice little deal there. Plus 25 receiving yards for Braylon Allen. Plus 280. Like he could have 30 receiving yards. I like that.
Yeah, he says he's not starting him. He has Kyron Moss and Monty. Yeah, I like all those.
Oh, well then hell no. Yeah. No. Yeah, I mean, go to bed. Put that to bed.
Joe Chris wants to also know Love or Carr today. Jordan Love back in the mix today. Govier. Who you start between these two?
That's a great question. It really is because I think there's an assumption that Jordan Love here Jordan Love's back. Here we go. First game back. Also taking on that Brian Flores blitz heavy D. It's been a real menace so far the first few weeks. I love Jordan Love, but I'm expecting it to be challenging in his return. But at the same time, Derek Carr has got to take on the Atlanta D, who did a great job against KC last week. They killed me. I picked Atlanta in my survivor pool, and they should have won that game. They really should have. That was very disappointing. So I'd like the Atlanta D, but Carr bounce back here. This is tough. This is so hard. Too hard.
I'm going Love here.
Okay. Yeah. It's going Love. And it's not a matter of weapons.
Yeah, it's worth noting that no, it's not. Both of these guys have tough matchups today. Minnesota has been very sneaky on defense, and it's a division matchup as well. So Love, and coming off of injury, if he's playing, I think you got to start him here. If we were to do a draft, obviously right now, and everyone's assumed healthy, you're taking Love over Carr by a long shot here. I still think you go Love. I like the weapons at his disposal. I believe they're in Green Bay today too. Is that right, Cove?
Yeah, live from Lambeau, but it won't be a frozen tundra. It'll just be a wet, stinky, mildew-ridden. It's like when your socks get soaking wet and you leave them on the basement floor for a week. That's what it's going to smell like at Lambeau today. Fucking stinks. Also, just want to make this clear. Minnesota has 5 interceptions on defense to only 2 passing touchdowns allowed. It can't last forever, but that's impressive early on. So.
Yes, very much so. Outsole Chaotic, what's up, man? I don't think I've seen you before. If you're new here, please make sure to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. You got a week 4 start sit question. Govier and I are here to answer them for you. So drop them in the live chat. Make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel, and we'll get all your questions answered here, man. That's what we do.
Woohoo!
Tommy V says, I just can't trust Carr, especially if Kamara is hurt. Kamara is playing, though, today, Tommy. So,
yes.
I think he'll be fine. I think they're probably just managing his reps there. Same thing with Bijan Robinson, the shoulder injury. Because of all the injuries we've had, everyone's freaking the fuck out. This has been a weird season for injuries. There's so many. They're dropping like flies. It's kind of crazy here. Outsole Chaotic wants to know, I need 3 between these. Olave, Keenan Allen, Jennings. I assume that's Juwan Jennings, Jacoby Myers, and Deontay Johnson. Gove, we'll start with you. Which 3 are you picking? And it would also help here, Outsole Chaotic, and for everybody in the chat, as I said earlier, make sure you let us know PPR, non-PPR, or half-point PPR.
That matters. That definitely matters. We'd like to know that stuff. For me here, I'm going back to Lowell with Jennings. I know he won't. Oh, thanks, buddy. Woo! Thanks for subbing, Outsole Chaotic. Welcome to the party, pal. I'm still going with Jennings. He won't have 175 yards and 3 touchdowns today, but he's still viable, of course. Although he might really fall off because Ayuk and Kittle will play too, so they'll be in the mix here with Debo giving it a go. So that's complications. But in the end, I like Myers. Deontay's going to play, right? But he is coming in with an injury issue, so... And Olave, I love Olave, but if he's got a hammy issue, he could re-injure that thing. He could be gone. It's too risky. So I guess Jennings and Myers and Allen.
There you go. Okay, nice job. I am going to go Olave. I think if he's out there, you got to play him. Although the risk is high here. outsole chaotic. I think you got to play him here for me. I'd go Olave. I'd go Deontay Johnson, and I would go Jacoby Myers over Jennings.
Okay. Wow, dude. All right.
Wow, dude.
Oh, we got some questions finally rolling in here. Here we go. Let's do it.
Let's see. Christian Kirk or Worthy today. Standard format. Who do you like here, Gove?
Ooh, standard format. So no PPR.
Love you, Joe. Love that standard format, baby. That's a sexy word there, standard. That's
Yep,
the kind of guy I am. I'm a standard guy. That's what I am, Gove.
That's how I feel about it. But, you are tried and true. You never back down. So I respect that. I'm not going to be that guy.
Don't be that
but
guy.
you are that guy. And so is Joe, apparently. So I got to say, this is brutal, man, because if you can't get any receptions, you're hoping for a touchdown in yards. And Worthy against a Charger D, I got issues. Kirk versus the Houston D, more possible he could do something. I'm going to go Kirk.
I'm going to go Kirk here as well. Lock that in. I just think the opportunity is going to be there for Kirk than it would be for Worthy. So give me Kirk there. Let's see here. Potton. What's up, dude?
Hey, Button.
Sorry if I sent this multiple times. X was glitching, as it always does there, Potton.
Much better on YouTube.
Yeah, he wants to know. He's got a bunch of them here. Okay, so let's address these one by one. We'll try to make this quick because we got some questions rolling in. Cooper,
Can't do it.
Amari Cooper or Olave half-point PPR. Who you got there, Go?
Cooper
as well for me. Stevenson or Walker half-point PPR.
Stevenson.
Who do the Patriots have again today?
They're at 49ers. Their D's not that great, so I'm not fearing that 49er D right now. And Ramondre, they also have 10 days off, so they had the Thursday game the week before. They got a lot of rest.
Give me Stevenson as well. Walker will split carries with Zach Charbonnet. If you own Zach Charbonnet, you cannot drop him. I think they're going to be careful with Walker. They have two viable options in both those running backs. I think they realize that now. So I think Walker will probably not get his normal workload. Stevenson's workload will be there. So give me Stevenson. Metcalf or ETN here. Half-point PPR.
Ooh, that's really hard. I love Metcalf against the Detroit D.
So do I.
But ETN gets opportunities and volume. I'm going to go ETN by a hair.
I'm going Metcalf. I just think that matchup is too good to ignore. ETN hasn't been great. He's on the road in Houston in a division game. Give me Metcalf. London, Tyreek, Najee. I think we have to pick between one of these guys. Half-point PPR.
That Titans-Dolphins game has just got everybody depressed. Nobody wants to watch it. Nobody wants to bet on it. It's just a disaster zone. Najee's got Cordarrelle to compete with this time against the Indianapolis D, which, by the way, just want to make this clear for this point. Everyone shits on the Indy run D, right? Like after the Green Bay game where Josh Jacobs ran it 32 times and Malik Willis beat them, and all they did was run. Everyone was like, dude, Indy defense, hell on earth. But they're actually middle of the pack in fantasy points allowed against running backs. Only one rushing touchdown allowed by Indianapolis this season. One. A singular one. They get up a lot of yards, 409 rushing yards, and no receiving touchdowns to backs. So think about that. I'm going to go with Drake London.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going Tyreek Hill. I'm a firm believer. I know this is a controversial subject because we talk about it. So many people talk about it, but you start your studs. I got to go Tyreek Hill.
Fair.
Number 5 here, last one. Flowers, Pickens, ETN, Olave, full point PPR. Choose one here. Go.
Flowers or Pickens?
Yeah, that's the same with me. I'm probably going to lean Flowers here in a likely high scoring game there. Flowers for me in a full point PPR.
Everyone's expecting Pickens to have like a career huge day today. That makes me a little suspect. I'd like to go Flowers full PPR for a safer floor, although I love Pickens, but that's kind of where I'm going just because when too many people get on board, I freak out a little bit. Yeah,
so do I.
Can't do
it. More of a possibility for a big goose egg. Not a goose egg, but not as good a game as everyone thinks. EA all day says, I don't think Jennings is startable if Debo plays. He's fourth option in the passing game. Remember, Kittle was out too. Yes, but he's also shown value in this offense before, though, here, EA all day. And again, as I've alluded to, I don't know if you're late to the show, but I said this earlier. I don't think we're going to see a full complement of snaps from Kittle and or Debo, noting that these guys are coming off of two really tough injuries between a calf and a hamstring. So Juwan Jennings is the healthiest receiver in that receiving room right now. And he's coming off a 3-touchdown game where he saw double-digit targets. So they know they can get away with playing Juwan Jennings and being just fine there. So I think Jennings is a solid, maybe a mid to low end flex play. I don't know if he's a guy that you can maybe fire up as a low end wide receiver too. I think that could be the case, but he's definitely startable for sure. Go. Do you have any opinions on that?
Well, Debo might be more of a smokescreen here. I really believe that they can beat the Patriots without him. I really don't expect Debo to have a ton of snaps and to make a huge impact. Of course, he probably will because I just said that. So there you go. Yeah.
Exactly.
Genius.
Brian Burmeister, what's up, brother?
Oh, the bad Brian in his house.
He says, "Hey, fellas, Luke Musgraves, Johnny Munt, or Jordan Atkins at tight end, half point PPR. Who you guess is a fun one? Not some guys we normally talk about in fantasy shows. Who do you got here?"
Johnny Munt sounds like a bully from like the 50s. Yeah, he's got a white T-shirt, cigarette pack rolled up in his white little sleeve there.
For some reason, I thought this was the Texas A&M quarterback. What was his name again?
Oh, Johnny Manziel, the dipshit?
No. The guy that Minnesota drafted.
The other Texas A&M quarterback.
Kellen Mond.
Oh, Kellen, yeah.
I don't know why
That's
I got
right.
those mixed up, but that's what I first thought of when I saw that name. But
What
who do
about
you like?
Musgrave?
Same. Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily close either.
Hopefully Musgrave comes alive here now with Love. I was a big Musgrave guy, and I'm hoping with the return of Jordan Love, we get a little bit more Musgrave in our lives.
There we go. We already got to that one. Let's see. Joe Chris, does Kmet keep it going today? I feel running quarterbacks target their tight ends more. Very popular waiver wire ad, Cole Kmet there, especially with how shitty tight end has been. McBride's obviously out today. Looks like Laporta is playing. Kudos to Govier, who did mention that on Tuesday that he would play. But yeah, I think he can keep it going. I think he's the safety blanket there for Caleb. But it's also worth noting that I believe Keenan Allen is back in the fold today as well. For Chicago. Hey, there it is, the nuclear missile water bottle. And for those of you guys who are new to the show, we always give you a water ASMR, a little just one day treat for you. Okay, there you go.
Yummy.
So yes, Joe, I think he keeps it going here. What do you think, Gov? You like Cole Kmet this week?
Everybody listen up here, okay? Right quick. The LA Rams are the second worst team in football against tight ends. Hands down so far. They're getting rolled up. Their defense is not good. The only way they can win right now is to have their offense save their ass. So I am all about Cole Kmet, 100% for sure, even though you hate to, like, piggyback off a big week because the NFL will screw you like that. But I'm all in because the Rams could get torched. They don't have a middle that they can really lock down defensively. I love Kmet.
Lock it in.
I will. That's what I will do right now.
Joe Chris says Mike Wilson could also have a big day today.
Love it.
Mike, I think I'm starting him in my flex today. I love the matchup. For those of you guys who are new to fantasy football, Washington is probably the worst defense in football, both against the run and against the pass. So I like Arizona, all the Arizona guys to have a big day today. I do think Elijah Higgins, the tight end for the Cardinals, is a trap play today. I would not be leaning towards Elijah Higgins if you need a tight end. Just a gut feeling. I think they rely on Mike Wilson, Dortch, and Marvin Harrison, plus James Conner today.
Mike Wilson's very cheap in DFS today, too. But though I love Mike Wilson, I have a feeling maybe Dortch goes off more. This is just how this shit happens. I'll say it now, and then we'll look back in a week and be like, yep, that's what happened.
Yep. Hey, Tyler.
The 13th.
The 13th, yeah.
What is your kingdom?
Twitch. Yeah. Viewing us from our Twitch channel, for those of you guys who don't know, we do have a Twitch. Chad does some great work over there. What two do I sit? So this is a sit question here between Jaden Reed, Olave, Garrett Wilson, and Michael Wilson. I would go Michael Wilson of this group as a sit, and my other sit would be Olave.
Say it. Yep.
Yeah, it would be Olave, just because I have concerns about the hamstring injury there. He just injured it on Friday, and I know that he's active, but how much run does he get? Could he re-injure it? Go with the safer floor here. Jaden Reed is going to be back with Jordan Love today. You can never.
It's a great match.
Garrett Wilson. Yeah, you can't sit Garrett Wilson in my opinion. But
great job,
Govier. He is going against Pat Surtain, so I have a little bit of a hesitancy here. But the Olave injury for me is enough to keep him out of this mix. So, but I still think you go Garrett Wilson.
Denver, number one in football right now against wide receivers, fantasy points allowed, number one in football. Now, they also, look, they haven't faced shit either. Week 1, Seattle, they got receivers. Week 2, Pittsburgh, a little less so. Week 3, Tampa Bay, they got receivers. So Denver hasn't just played the shittiest wide receivers in the league so far. They are for real, and you're absolutely correct to say what you just said, Mike. Watch out for Patrick Surtain. And though we'd love Garrett Wilson to get loose, this might not be Garrett Wilson's week. It really might not. You might want to go with Michael Wilson and Reed here in a radical move, but that would go against Mike's concept of play your studs. So
Yeah, I think you got to start Garrett Wilson. I don't love the matchup, but it is in New York, and maybe he gets away. Maybe they find creative ways to get the ball in his hands. He does have Aaron.
Call 911.
Exactly, call it.
might be calling 911 after that game. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I love Pat Surtain too, but yeah, it's a tough one there.
I love his father better. I'm more personal.
There you go.
Love for his father.
Here's a defense question, our first one of the day. Green Bay or Houston defense? Houston gets the Jacksonville Jaguars in Houston today, and Green Bay gets the Minnesota Vikings. Who do you like here between these two teams here? Go.
Green Bay. Houston defense, they're probably pissed after what happened last week in Minnesota. I guess it's possible that Houston just murders Jacksonville, and that's like the end of Jacksonville. But I believe in this series. It has a weird situation, okay? Real quickly. Last year, the Jags beat Houston in Houston last year, 31-24, and that was in November when the Texans were streaking, okay? And then when you go back to Jacksonville, Houston wins every time there. The series goes back and forth. So I know it sounds crazy, but I'm going Green Bay's defense. In Minnesota, Sam Darnold's coming in with the knee. He can play, but their injury was kind of there still. So we'll see if that causes issues. And I like the Green Bay defense at home.
Jair Alexander, it looks like he's going to be out for this game.
That's bad news.
Does that change your opinion at all?
Not too much because, Jefferson's unstoppable, and it's just tough. The Minnesota won this matchup in Green Bay last year, if that matters to anybody. That was when Jordan Love was not who he became later in the year, just for the record.
Yeah. I'm going to go Houston here, Joe, simply because of the fact of they look terrible against Buffalo. They couldn't move the ball. Trevor Lawrence looks lost. I think this is a dark cloud season here for Jacksonville. I think Doug Peterson might be on his way out. But noting Govier's point, this is a division game here between Houston and Jacksonville. They are in Houston. Both teams are going to be fired up to play. It could be low scoring. I just like the – I don't necessarily think that Jacksonville has the offensive prowess, especially with Evan Ingram out. I know they got Brian Wilson and Christian Kirk, who are fine options there.
Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys?
Yeah. Is it Brian? Is that
I've made a
Brian
huge
Thomas?
mistake.
Brian
Lying
Thomas,
in bed, just like Brian Wilson did.
Brian Thomas, sorry, not Brian Wilson. From the Beach
Brian
Boys,
Wilson
yeah.
lining up in the
He's
slot.
Starting.
That's
Give me Houston there. Sorry we didn't help you out there, Joe. Gov likes Green Bay. I like Houston. Mr. Noodle, what's up, man? He says Quentin Johnston or Gawan Robinson. I'm not sure who Gawan Robinson is.
Bijan? Can't be Bijan.
No.
Here we go again. Robinson, Allen Robinson. We did this last time.
Is it DeMarcus Robinson?
Probably. Maybe. I don't know. Fix the error, dude. We got a lot of questions. I love you. Thanks for being here, Mr. Noodle. I love Noodles and Company. It was a good restaurant, but I need an update.
Kyle Singer, what's up, man?
Hey!
He wants to go Ford or ETN full PPR. Who do you like?
Oh, man. I'm going to go Ford here, even though most people would probably go ETN. I'm going Ford, especially PPR. Guy can catch balls. Chubb comes back next week, but this is still Ford's backfield for one more week against the Raiders, who got ripped by Chubba Hubbard last week. Chubba Hubbard. Subscribe while you're here, Kyle. Welcome to the party, pal.
Yeah, he says thumbs up. Just a little over an hour left. Get your lineup set. And
thank you, Kyle.
Up, guys, come on, everyone. Yeah, thank you, Kyle.
Thumbs up, Mike Utley.
Yeah, I'm with Govier there. I like Ford. I'm actually sitting ETN in favor of Cam Akers today in one of my dynasty.
Oh, that's insane. You might regret that.
I got to do it. No, I got to do it.
Mixon's playing, isn't he?
No, he's out.
He's officially out. Oh, they pulled it. Wow, he got. So he's not going to play.
Yeah, he tested it, said it felt good, but they all agreed. Everybody, all parties included, said they give him one more week. So I like.
Well, that's good news for Jacksonville, actually. So
yeah,
it is. Just saying.
He says this one is crazy again. What two do I sit between Henry, Mason, Achane, Hubbard, and Hall? Jesus, man, how many teams are in this league? You got a stud running back room. Fuck. Which two do you sit? I guess Hubbard for me, just because he's probably the least talented of this group, and then
Cincinnati better against the run. I said that earlier.
Yeah.
Than you think.
I don't feel good about sitting any of these guys, Gove, to be honest, but I guess I'll go. I don't know, man. Mason, I don't feel good about it, but I'd go Henry, Achane, and Hall. That's who I'd start.
New England, decent against the run, like top 15 against the run fantasy points wise, but Mason could roll at home today. That's very possible. Henry against Buffalo. You can't, benching Derrick Henry after a 150-yard, 2-touchdown game is a very difficult thing to do. And the Buffalo defense, they're middle of the pack against the run, so I can't do that either. I'll bench a chain to see if they force the pass game.
Wow.
The Tennessee D does that. That's what I do. I'm gonna bench a chain and Hubbard.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
Back to Mr. Noodle's question here. We were way off. He wants to know, should I drop Quentin Johnston for Wan'Dale Robinson?
Yeah, my guy. How can I forget my guy? Wan'Dale had 11 catches on Thursday night. PPR heaven, which you don't like because in traditional, he only had 70 yards, which actually isn't terrible. Yeah.
No, I would make this move. I do play in PPR leagues. I'm only playing one standard of 5 weeks.
Yeah, let's not label Mike. He does play PPR, folks. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Wan'Dale Robinson, for me, I think I would do this trade or do this move for sure. Because I think the target share is going to be there. And in PPR formats, just like in standard formats, like you want volume, right? And if you're going to get double-digit targets and plentiful targets there from Danny Dimes, not to mention, too, it's worth noting, I know he's got some time. Neighbors is in the concussion protocol. So if there's a chance that he sits out, it's Wan'Dale Robinson season. And Govier was on the record of saying this prior to the season. He was a big Wan'Dale Robinson guy. So I like
almost every team.
I like this move. I would do this, Mr. Noodle, for sure.
Yep, lock it in. Totally agree. I would never.
I'm not arguing now.
Yeah, I'm never going to argue with that, and I love it because Quentin Johnston's touchdown dependent on it.
There we go. Okay, here we go. Another question here for defenses: Raiders defense versus Cleveland or Dolphins defense versus the Titans? There's not a chance in God's green earth that I'm starting Raiders defense. There's just absolutely no fucking chance. No. Anytime you get torn up by Andy Dalton, dude, at home, run the opposite way, and no Max Crosby today. So give me the Dolphins D versus the Titans. Will Levis does not look good. I go Dolphins there.
I like that call. I'd be careful, though. Raiders D probably plays better. They already had a team meeting. They're a team in crisis after 3 weeks, which is not a good sign for Antonio Pierce or the Raiders at all. I agree. Let's go Dolphins D here at home against the Titans. Will Levis, the turnover machine.
There you go. Tyler, the 13th, says 12, but family leagues. There's some questionable draft picks. I love those leagues, man. I love those leagues. We get some guys who really don't know what they're doing. Yeah, and they just draft the names. Yeah, that's fun.
All too easy.
Those are fun. Let's see here. Chad saying Raiders D 100%. When I yang, Chad yangs. So
yep. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Browns have no Wyatt Teller, and Deshaun Watson is the worst quarterback in the league.
He's better on the road, though. Deshaun hates playing at home. He knows everyone hates him, but when he goes on the road, they win. It's weird. That could be the routine this season. They won in Jacksonville. Of course, Jacksonville's been shit. So, I don't know.
Yeah. Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
I like that.
Yeah. Let's see here.
I've made a huge mistake.
Let's see who makes the biggest mistake today.
EA all day also says Raiders, same thing. Raiders missing Crosby and a few others. Yeah. I think that has potential to be a shootout in that game today, Cleveland and Las Vegas. I just have a weird feeling that. What's the over-under on that? Do you know? Off the top of your
Vegas
head?
game?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Vegas game's at like 41.
Okay.
37.
Here's a good question.
Low.
Yeah. Here's a good question from Chad. Interested to hear your thoughts on this as well. Here, Gov. How concerned are we about Hurts with no weapons and, more importantly, no Lane Johnson? So he's got no Lane Johnson.
Officially out.
He's got no A.J. Brown and no Devonta Smith. So it looks like it's going to be a Saquon day, which for me, I love that. But missing Lane Johnson will hurt. So
you're forgetting
this is going to be tough. I'm forgetting somebody in Philly?
Jahan Dotson Day.
Oh boy.
Yeah, this is the game. This is why they traded for him for this moment. Howie Roseman is such a genius. He knew that both his starting wide receivers would get hurt, and they would need Jahan Dotson against Tampa Bay. He planned this out, obviously.
Do we feel good about that? Because last week it was the same scenario, and I don't think he got much run. Like, he didn't do well.
Yeah, I'm just a little bit of a troll here. Look, Tampa Bay is really good so far this season against the pass, against wide receivers. In fact, Tampa Bay, here you go. Lock this in for sure. Tampa Bay has not allowed a passing touchdown yet to wide receiver. So it's going to be a lot harder for Hurts now. This has to be a ground game or bust victory for Philly. I like Tampa. I took Tampa when it was at plus 1.5, 2, and now it's down to 1. So, yeah.
Vita Vea is starting today for Tampa as well. He was questionable with a knee injury, and he's playing, so he's going to clog up that middle. So I actually like Tampa in this game a lot too.
Yeah, they played shit last week. That game against Denver was stupid as hell. Also, they own Tampa in the last couple playoff games. They beat them twice in the playoffs in the last 3 years. So they kind of own Hurts. Those were Hurts-led teams in the playoffs.
Yes, I actually like Tampa a lot. I might hammer that actually.
I love it. I'm all in. Let's party.
Yeah. So But worth noting too that like I was watching ESPN earlier today, and I think Sal Paolantonio interviewed Jalen and asked him if it was a must-win game or if it was a revenge game, because if you guys remember, Tampa Bay knocked them out of the playoffs last year. And Jalen said, "This is not a past. This is not a future. This is a present. We're just going to kind of control what we can control." So with all those guys out, I actually like Dallas Goedert a lot in this game. So if you have Dallas Goedert, I think I'm firing him up with confidence. Tampa doesn't do well against the tight end.
Tampa giving tight end opportunities, yes. The Tampa's been pretty good. They've only given up 7 catches for 60 yards in 3 games to tight ends. Just saying. That's not.
There you go.
So Goddard could be the guy who exploits New Orleans last week, but I'm not buying that Goddard exploits Tampa this week. I think it's going to be a tough day. They have to run to win. Philly's only shot. Oh my God, we got female. Yay! Woo!
Jacqueline Grandgeorge. What is up? Thank you
what
for
a
being
cool
here.
last name. Are you royalty?
Make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel there, Jacqueline. You always get your questions answered here. I don't think I've seen you in the chat before. She wants to know, I have to sit one of these. Thoughts? Gibbs, Connor, Henry, Evans, and Metcalf. Ooh, this is a tough one here. Who are you sitting between these 5? Yeah.
You can't sit Connor. That's a defense that's ready to party against. You can't sit Henry. You can't sit Gibbs either, especially if this is PPR, Jacqueline, which I don't know. Evans... Like I said, Evans against that Tampa offense, throwing the ball, bounce back. I love Evans to score today. I think Evans was at like plus 150 to score a touchdown today. I like that. So it's either between Evans and Metcalf for me here that I'd have to sit. Metcalf's got Detroit, whose passing defense can be exploited. And both these games in the last 2 years against Seattle and Detroit have been high-scoring affairs. So maybe it's Evans, I guess, even though I'd like him to score. This is really hard, though. These are all really good players.
Yeah, this is a good problem to have here, Jacqueline. I agree with Govier. I'd probably go Metcalf here because I like the other 4 matchups better and the players as well. So not to say that I don't like Metcalf. I just prefer these 4 guys over them. So, and I think Govier's in the same boat. So it's
we
a
got
toss
5 minutes left, by the way.
Flip a coin between Evans and Metcalf, okay?
5-minute warning. Here we go.
Here we go. She wants to know another rapid fire. Komet or Laporta? Laporta for me.
Komet! That Ram defense sucks!
Need help with second flex spot, full PPR, Carson Steele or Ladd McConkey, or consider another from the waiver wire like Quentin Johnston, Trey Tucker, or anyone else. I don't really like any of these options to be 100% honest here, Steven. I'd probably go Ladd McConkey of this group, but I know who Govier is going to pick. He's going to pick Trey Tucker.
Oh, very good. Wow, look at you. You definitely know me. Lock you in on that one, yeah. Say no more. Pick up Trey Tucker and start him with no Devontae Adams. Let's party.
There you go. Let's see. Uncle Ted's in the mix.
Hey!
It's the whatever Mike says, do the opposite hour. Exactly, yeah.
So we're both Mike, right? So you're saying both of us? Is that what you mean? You're saying, so no, don't listen to a single word we say. Oh, he's trolling you?
Yeah.
Where's the beef?
I just probably off my Andy Dalton call last week.
But Andy Dalton was awesome. Oh, you said Andy Dalton would not be? Yeah. Oh. Hey, Chad, can we all make a mistake here? Come on.
Yeah, exactly. You 100% sit Connor if the Washington offense is firing. The Cards will abandon the run. Wait, what? I'm not sure I understand this.
He's saying that they'll abandon the run because they'll be throwing it like crazy. But I'm not saying I think it's crazy 100% sit Connor, Chad. This is a classic Chad, maybe a little too intense call out here because Connor against the run for Washington could still be very effective. In fact, the more people want to think that the Cardinals are going to throw like crazy, the more likely it is that Connor's going to be the guy who has like 3 touchdowns and 125 yards.
That's exactly right. So I agree with that. I think they're going to try to do what they normally do and not get too far away from their game plan. I think it'll be a balanced attack here between throwing and running. But also worth noting too that Washington likes to run the ball a lot too. So they could try to control the clock here to give their defense a little bit of a break. So I think this is a good Brian Robinson spot today and Jaden Daniels. How do you feel about Jaden Daniels today here, Gove? I know you're a fan of him, but do you like him against the Arizona Cardinals today?
I love Jaden Daniels. I start him every week. He's been one of my favorite draftees for Superflex leagues this year. I am mildly concerned that the defensive guru, Mr. Gannon, the head coach, Jonathan Gannon of Arizona, might have something to dial up, but they don't have the talent necessarily to limit him. And it still seems like Jaden could run for 80 yards, maybe score a rushing touchdown still. So I'm not going to sit Jaden, no way in hell. And Not really that worried about it. I will say on the other side, back to the counterpoint, Mike, Washington's defense against the run has not been god-awful. Their passing defense has been god-awful, but they've been okay against the run. So, Chad, maybe it's not 100% sit Connor, but I could see if you really had a great option, you want to go in a different direction than Connor, maybe considering that.
He scores touchdowns, though, too. I'm not sitting. There's not a lot of leagues where I'm sitting Connor at today. Just giving
you're right.
I think he's almost a lock. I think he's a lock for anytime touchdown scorer today. If you guys are in the betting,
You better lock it up. You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up.
Like bit.
Lock it
Love
up.
the bit.
There it is. Lock it up. We got 2 minutes left.
Real quick, I want to. You guys keep dropping your questions in here. We'll get them answered. I want to talk about Roschon Johnson here in my little white bubble here, okay? Because I do think he's a speculative ad today. I'm not saying he's going to go off today, but there's been reports from Jeremy Fowler that they're going to do an extended look today. So a little preview to Tuesday's show upcoming here. Roschon Johnson will be a popular waiver ad. If you have a bench spot, speculative ad right now, see how he does today, make that move. Running backs especially are hard to come by, good ones at that. He's involved in the passing game, so if you're playing PPR, he has some value here. Get Roschon Johnson.
A couple radical things I'll throw out here. I love these first touchdown scorer bets. They're really hard to hit, but I like playing like $5 on like the plus 6,000s. I've hit a couple. Last year I hit like 10 of them. Those returns are stupid, plus 6,000. So how about Drew Sample to score the first touchdown in the Cincinnati-Carolina game, plus 6,000. Backup tight end for Cincinnati. Burrow has hit him before for touchdowns. I also love Eric All to take more of control of the tight end job at Cincinnati. Eric All, former Michigander, transferred to Iowa. He's getting more playing time. He's got talent. I just like Eric All overall. If you're looking for tight end replacements, you got injuries or issues, that's fun. And I also think that Cordero Patterson will play well against that Indianapolis defense today with no Jaylen Warren. I was saying that before. I'm a fan. And yeah, there's just so much more. There's so much more out there. It's so exciting. Football Sunday. Something stupid's going to happen and something fun hopefully happens. I mean,
before
that's
we
football.
go. Yeah, before we go, I want to get back to Michael Wilson. We're going to do kind of like what ESPN does over under here.
This guy keeps it going. He does. He just keeps it going, man. He's the third wide receiver, but he still had like 70+% of the snaps last week. So even when Higgins back, he was out there plenty. So there's a connection between Burrow and Yoshevich. I love it. I'll never get over it. Go ahead. Sorry.
Over under 70 yards for Michael Wilson today. 70.5.
I'm going to go under.
Going to go under today. Does he score a touchdown? Yes or no?
Yes.
There you go. All right, lock it in.
I'm going to say he scores a touchdown, but goes under on those yards, but has like 5+ grabs.
I want to bring this up on Tuesday's show, so don't forget it. I'm going the over, and he scores a touchdown today. Big game for Michael Wilson.
Locking you in, buddy. There's so much more. I hope everybody has a great weekend. I hope you have a great Sunday. You win a lot of money. Take advantage of your opportunities. Add the guys that will make a difference. Take a little bit of risk, but don't get too crazy. Like Mike says, start your studs. There's something of value in that. There always will be. The Chris Olave is going to be a weird one because I love Olave and he is starting, but I'm just too afraid to start a guy with the bogus hammy, even though Olave's like one of my studs. So... oh, God. Oh, last one here. We'll go to then. Tutu has a big game, says Uncle Ted. Tutu Atwell for the Rams against the Chicago defense. Chicago could be run on, but the pass defense is much better. I think that the Rams' key to winning is just a run-heavy approach. I really do. But Matthew Stafford is that offense now, and he will get the ball wherever it needs to go. So maybe.
I think it's between Tutu and Demarcus Robinson, but I agree. I think it's a ground game there for LA.
Okay. Well, there you go. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Sorry I was a tad late, but we still got the show in. Make sure you subscribe. Please like the video. Share it with your friends so you get a replay later.
Great job.
And we appreciate you being here. Discord's free. Patreon. You want to check that out. Starts with $3. Follow Mike at _Mike VA. I'm at MJ Govier Plato Podcast.
Utah.
2 L's, 2 Z's.
Give me 2.
Turn it over to Huck and Chuck of football, everybody. Godspeed. All you football crazies.
Fucking Roethlisberger, the quarterback, was all fucking hug it, chug it, football all night.